Welcome to Mid-Rock Crisis. I'm East Coast Pete. Today we're going to talk about Alice Cooper. So what do you know about Alice Cooper? Obviously that's not his name, is it? Let's go back to Phoenix, Arizona in 1964. Vince Furnier became Alice Cooper when he fronted his band by the same name. Vince, Glenn Buxton, Dennis Dunaway, and Neil Smith attended high school and formed a garage band called the Spiders. When school was out, they took the name Naz. They soon found out that there already was a Naz, Todd Rundgren's first band. And legend says that the guys found the Alice Cooper name with the help of a Ouija board, as Alice was a witch from the 18th century. Not so, says Vince. Alice was a character on the TV show Mayberry RFD, and the name sounded wholesome, which was the opposite of how they saw themselves. Vince had his name legally changed to Alice Cooper for publicity. Well, the band made a logical move to Los Angeles in 1967, but try as they might, they could not be relative to that scene, which was sun-splashed psychedelia. At the time, Alice was more of a beer band, and their so-called shock rock was giving the beautiful people bad trips. There's something about a chicken being thrown to the crowd, live chicken, crowd just tearing it apart. Not a good vibe. So Alice moved to Pontiac, Michigan, near Detroit. This time Frank Zappa signed Alice to his Straight Records label. Midwesterners had wanted to be a part of the whole scene there due to MC5 and the Stooges, and Alice Cooper just fit right in. Now, if you listen very carefully to Alice Cooper's first recordings, Frank Zappa's influence is definitely present. And then Warner purchased Straight Records from Zappa, but they kept Alice on the strength of the single I'm 18. In LA, their first album, Easy Action, was ignored. In Detroit, their second album, Love It to Death, was well received, but not a blockbuster. That would come later with the next album, titled simply Killer. You know you bought it. It was bright red with a snake head sticking its tongue out at you. And you pulled the plastic off and pulled out the black LP and put it on your Lafayette turntable, and through headphones or through your prized Bose speakers, you heard the music and you were stunned. Admit it, folks. It was 1972, the year of my high school graduation. And what a great summer to be young, in love, with anthems like School's Out, I'm 18, and the whole dang killer album to rock out to. Where did it take us? I think you had to be there. You say you missed out on the summer of love? Don't worry, it no longer mattered. in 1970, Easy Action. This is the first album. It's songs like Mr. and Misdemeanor, which featured the slowest fade out in the history of rock. There was even a West Side Story reference. Like, when you're a jet all the way from your first cigarette till your last dying day. You know about that, right? Another song, Shoe Salesman, could have actually been a Monkey song. It's so pop. And then in 71, Alice Cooper came out with Love It to Death, which I thought was a much better album than Easy Action. With the songs I'm 18, Space Rock, no love songs, no guitar noodling, even a glam / Iron Butterfly thing going on. The guitars were great. And then in 71, Killer, Got You Under My Wheels, so Detroit. It had a Velvet Underground feel, or maybe a Rocky Horror Picture Show thing going on. Sound of Music. This is prog, baby. Middle Eastern guitar hooks, just like Jimmy Page. This album has everything. Some might say the instrumentation is overboard, but I don't mind it here. This is a magnum opus. Dead babies can take care of themselves. Huh? They can? That's odd. But yeah, it was kind of like that. Horror motifs, even heavier than anything else out there. Certainly pre-dark metal, I would say. And then 72, School's Out. This was the biggest Alice Cooper album. No more pencils, no more books. And we can't even think of a word that rhymes. That's pre-punk. And this is a concept album. There's more jets and violence. What a great album to graduate with. And somehow the girls liked this too. Maybe it was the danger. 73, Billion Dollar Babies. No more Mr. Nice Guy. But when was there a nice guy? This album is not bad, but I think it's a step down from Killers and School's Out. 73, Muscle of Love. Subway stations in the United Nations. Detroit comes to New York City. Last Alice Cooper band album. Alice himself would plod on. At this point, the band went their separate ways, but Vince was still Alice. I'd say he'd be the first to admit that nothing he put out at this time had the influence of Killer or School's Out. He put out a bunch of solo albums with hired guns, and some were better than others. His Alice Cooper makeup came off, and then it went back on. He knew he would never shake Alice loose, so did he just milk her for all she was worth? Maybe. Maybe he was doing what he wanted, and damn it, if he wanted to appear on Hollywood frickin' squares, well, he would. I'll put it out to you people. Did Alice come up with a song or an album as good as his first three? Actually, there's his second, third, and fourth, which I'll call their first three. And let me know what you think. I've heard Vince's radio show. It's one of the only shows that still plays music from my time. I also know that he's really a decent together guy, even if Salvador Dali said otherwise. That crazy old coot. Thanks for being with me. Hit like if you liked it. See you next time.